Good? Okay. All right, welcome everybody to Understanding Redemption Arcs, an analysis of Zuko from Avatar, The Last Airbender. All right. So, we're just gonna dive right in. Colby, there's a seat right here if you want one.
I want to take pictures from back here because look how awesome.
Okay, all right, thanks. That's a buddy of mine. Okay. So originally, for those who have never seen Avatar, because I happen to know that there are a couple at least in here. No judgment, we don't cast stones, but they should watch it. Okay, all right. New thing for them to enjoy. Okay, so but I was going to show the title opening because. Then they would kind of have a setup for what we're actually going to be talking about. Copyright. I can't actually show it. So I'm just gonna tell you the premise myself. All right. So we have water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four nations lived in harmony. Okay, but everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Womp womp.
Only the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. Ooh, I love it when people are, yeah, say it along with me if you know it. That's great. All right, 100 years passed. My brother and I, that's Katara, that's for those who don't know, my brother and I have discovered the new Avatar, an Airbender named Aang. And although his Airbender skills are great, he's got a lot to learn before he's ready to save anyone. Let's see, we can do better than that. But I believe Aang can save the world. So yes, he can. Alright, so now we got it. So that's the premise. That's what our character of Zuko. That's the setting in which we meet him. Right, 100 years have passed. When we meet Zuko, he's 16 years old. He's on a small Fire Nation warship, and he is. He's angry, right? He's angry. When we meet him, we know two things about him. We know he has a goal. His goal is to capture the Avatar. His motivation is he must regain his honor so that he can return to the Fire Nation. Now when we meet Zuko, he's kind of a punk. And he's got an attitude. He's got an attitude problem. Like ooh, should I say it with all these youth in here? Like often 16-year-olds have? Ooh, are those fine words? Maybe, I'm not sure, okay. My youngest is 16, so okay. Well, you know all about that. Oh, I want to hear that. What'd you say?
Amen from a 16-year-old.
Amen from a 16-year-old. Respect it. Okay, so he's not very likable. And yet we like him. And the reason why?
Because he's hot.
Well, the girl ain't wrong. Okay. All right. But also because we immediately meet Uncle Iroh. Uncle Iroh is likable. He is patient. He is kind. We know immediately that Uncle Iroh loves Zuko. And so, his redemption already begins because we have a soft spot for him. Just because Uncle Iroh does. Alright?
We trust Uncle Iroh and we trust his judgment.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And it's immediate, right? That first episode, boom. Okay? So your character needs to be a punk, right? When they start, they need to have some troubles. Maybe an attitude adjustment is needed. But there has to be someone or something about your character that is likable, because we want to be rooting for them from the very beginning, right? All right, the next thing, backstory. Okay. Every character that has a redemption arc must have some traumatic backstory that influences their beliefs and the choices they make. And oh man, I was just going to show this really beautiful clip of his initial backstory, but copyright. So now I just got to explain it, but most of you know it, so I'm just going to go over it super fast. Okay, now we got to imagine, when we meet Zuko, he's 16, then we get to hear about him when he's 13. Now, is there anyone in this room who is 13 years old? You're not really. Shut up. You look like you're 16. All right. You're almost a bad example because you don't look young, but stand up. Are you 13 too? Yeah. All right, stand up. Anyone who's 13? All right. Here we go. 13 years old. So picture that. All right, you guys can sit down. Thank you.
Now have them fight.
This is not a panel about the Hunger Games. We're not going to fight. All right, so 13-year-old boy, he goes and he wants to be a part of what his father is doing. His father is in the middle of a war meeting, and he, as 13 years old, wants to go and participate. The guards won't let him in. Uncle Iroh shows up. Now, later on, let's just think about Uncle Iroh and how he might feel. Because he's the one that says, hey, why are you upset? Zuko says, if I'm going to be the Fire Lord someday, shouldn't I go and learn and be part of that? So Uncle Iroh says yes. I don't know, that might make me feel a little guilty later on. But he says yes. He says, okay, you can go, just don't say anything, promise me. Okay, that's that. The upper left. Then he goes to the war room, and in the war room, for those who don't know, what happens? He does speak out, because the general is saying, oh, I have this great plan. I'm going to sacrifice our new recruits, and the experienced recruits are going to come around and get them from the rear. And Zuko is like, that is not right.
Bro, that's messed up.
That's messed up. All right, so he stands up. He says, wait a second, you can't do that. You can't betray them. They love our nation, right? But because he's only 13 and he does not have permission to speak, he has now done something very disrespectful. And he now must participate in something called an Agni Kai. Does anybody want to read this for me? Someone in the front row? Brianna, can you read it loud, or do you want a mic?
Agni Kai.
Just do it from memory.
A fight for one's honor and is won only when one opponent burns the other. The outcome of an Agni Kai affects the honor of each opponent.
Perfect. And so here's Zuko, and he's ready. Because at 13 years old, he's struggling with some confidence, but he has the outward appearance like he's got it, right? And so he thinks he's going to face off with the general. But who is he facing off with? His father.
Daddy issues, baby.
Fire Lord Ozai. And so immediately, Zuko is no longer ready to fight. He immediately goes to his knees. He says, look, I am your loyal son. Please forgive me, I would never dishonor you. And in that moment, we really see who Fire Lord Ozai is, because what does he do? He says, this is weakness. The fact that you will not fight me is weakness. And you have no honor. And I'm going to teach you through pain. And so he does. And that's how Zuko gets his scar. Now, this is essential, all right? And it does two things. One, it gives him a reason for being the angsty, angry, should dislike him but you don't character that needs to be redeemed. And But what was that?
Trauma.
Trauma. Oh, I lost my. That works. We'll go with that. The second thing just totally slipped my mind, but it'll come back to me. I know myself. All right. So, I remember. It gives us empathy, right? We now have empathy for the character. We know he has been through something difficult. So even though he is rascally and angsty, we're going to be forgiving because our hearts are on his side, right? We like him. Do you have a comment?
I was going to say, it also gives him a reason to do that. It gives him a reason to have that sort of personality, is because he has those previous traumas and previous effects that changed him as a person, and that allows us to empathize.
Perfect. You're right on, my friend. Perfect. All right, and that would be enough. That's enough trauma for this character. But is that the only trauma? No. Because then later on we find out that Zuko's mother disappears. He has no idea where she is. And if you want to know, you got to go read the comic book.
Yeah!
It's good. If you want to find out, go read it.
Good one.
And he also has a sister Azula, who is a sociopath. She has no empathy, and she loves being the center of attention, and she loves causing chaos. And from a small age, you learn that she is like that, right? And
He
so,
was cheering when his face got burned.
yes. Uncle Iroh had to turn away when during the Agni Kai, but Azula is reveling in her brother's pain, right? And so with General because we don't have time. Okay, so next. So now we know his backstory. All right, next we have to do the try-fail cycle. All right, so Zuko fails a lot in his goal of capturing the Avatar. All right, but the interesting thing is that he has wins, right? He has wins in these little moments, right? We're talking with General or Commander Zhao, and then he turns into a general. And moments like that, moments with the pirates, and different things that show he is competent, all right? We like competent people in our stories. And so Zuko, sorry, you're right. I'm trying to catch everyone's comments, and it threw me off slightly. I'm so sorry. Okay. So try-fail cycle. We know he's competent, and when he fights the Avatar, it's not, and he's by himself, it's not just the Avatar. He's got Katara, he's got Saga, he's got Appa, he's got Momo?
Dude, back off Momo.
He doesn't really help, but he watches. All right. So we see he is a competent fellow, and we like that, right? So, but he fails. He fails at his main goal, right? Okay. So next we have to see that there has to be seeds planted in Zuko's character, right? Because that's what's going to lead to the change. And if anybody has either gone through a trauma, experienced grief, anything like that, then you know that these things take time, right? And nothing is sadder than when you're reading a story with a redemption arc and it falls flat, because it's like, wait, they wouldn't do that yet. Have anybody ever experienced that where they're like, really? That doesn't sound right for the character? Yeah, it's because they're not there yet. We have to have the seeds planted. And Avatar does this really super well. These are Zuko's seeds. Okay? So, well, not all of them. We don't have time. Okay, just watching my clock. All right. First is Uncle Iroh. Uncle Iroh is a constant seed. All right? He's always putting those positive thoughts, that compassion, that care into Zuko, right? And it's extra special because what you learn about Uncle Iroh is that he lost his son, and he was originally going to be the Fire Lord. But he doesn't become the Fire Lord. He doesn't have an heir. There's a whole conspiracy thing. We know. If you have questions, you can ask me later. I don't have time. It's really great. But Iroh, we learn later on, well, they actually say it, but it actually doesn't even need to be said. Iroh considers Zuko as his own son. So he is constantly trying to direct him, right? All right, so that's a seed. Another seed is this, I don't know if you guys, the episode with Aang here, where Zuko has actually saved Aang from Commander Zhao, but it's not, huh?
The blue spirit.
The blue spirit, yes. But he's not saving the Avatar because he wants to save the Avatar. He's saving the Avatar because he wants to be the one to turn him in. Yeah. And actually, that was the thing that I wanted to mention, was this is an interesting thing for Zuko, is that you have to remember, 13 years old is when the Agni Kai happens, and what happens? He's banished and given the task of finding the Avatar, right? And what makes this worse is that when we meet him, he's already spent 2.5 years on a ship, wandering the 3 nations, because he can't go back to the Fire Nation right now, searching for the Avatar, a fruitless endeavor, right? Because at this point, the Avatar's been missing for almost 100 years when he first sets off, and then 100. Okay, so Aang's in this moment, and this moment is special because Aang tells Zuko, I love that you're nodding, you know. Aang tells Zuko, he says, 100 years ago, I was friends with people in the Fire Nation. And he starts to wonder, could we have been friends? And it's very tender, it's very sad. And then Aang hops away and takes off before Zuko can catch him. That's a seed, right? A seed that's being planted, an idea that Zuko has never heard before, because the Fire Nation has taught that everyone else is
Inferior.
less than, right? And Fire Nations, there to lead and help and keep. So he's been given some propaganda, right? So that's an interesting idea that he's first experiencing. And then we have Katara, when she's captured, and at the same time that Zuko is captured by his sister. Yes, you know what? I tell you what. I'm so sorry I cannot go more in depth into these stories. So people who haven't seen the show, I'm so sorry. I just don't have time to go through it. But they get captured together, and they have a tender moment because both of them don't have their mother, right? And so that's a seed. That's oh wait, this girl from the Water Tribe, I can relate to her on this level. Okay, that's different. Then we have Zuko. He's not really undercover. He's a refugee. He's a fugitive, not a refugee, a fugitive, and he's hiding in the Earth Kingdom, right? And this is a serious moment for Zuko because he's around people and seeing how other people live that is not the Fire Nation, right? So we get to see him go on a date. Look at this. And it is adorable. Who had all the ahs? Oh my gosh, Zuko with the Earth Kingdom girl. And it was really super tender. But he's seeing, I can have this sweet moment with, look at that. That's as close, pretty close to a smile. A full-grown smile that Zuko has. He doesn't have very many of those in the show. So they're important, he's noticing. Okay, all right, that's a seed. That's a seed. All right. All right, then we need the seed to take root. It's gotta continue. We gotta do a little more prep work, okay? So like this is, it's not a full change yet. Those little things that happened, that they're the seeds being planted, that's not enough, right? For him to make the change. Oh, you know what? Let me first talk about this picture. Okay, so this picture is of, it's of Zuko going in, okay. Okay, here we go. What I should have said was, everybody do your homework, everybody go watch the show. But, okay, so Appa is Aang's bison. He has been captured, and he is in the Earth Kingdom. Aang is in the Earth Kingdom, and he's now put up posters saying, "Hey, I've lost my bison. Anybody see? Anybody see a bison anywhere?" I mean, it's huge, and he's flying. You'd think they'd find it. No go. Well, who's a fugitive and hiding in the Earth Kingdom? It's Zuko. So Zuko goes, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go. I've been living peacefully. I've been doing my tea shop job, you know, going on dates with this cute girl. But oh, I just had a sign of the Avatar. Now I gotta, his motivation, it's too deep. I have to regain my honor. I have to return home to the Fire Nation. I have only one way to do that. Yes, sir?
Like, kind of have a regression here, because, I don't know, I think from what I remember, it's been a while, but from what I remember, he was kind of doing a lot better. He wasn't really focusing on the Avatar, he was focusing on...
Yes.
But here he's having kind of a regression.
Absolutely, it is a total regression. Yeah. And so he's like, well, I'm gonna find Appa. The guy's got some tracking skills, you know. And so he goes, and he's wants Appa for himself, but then who shows up? Anybody remember? Iroh shows up. All right, Iroh shows up and he says, hey, and he convinces Zuko to let him go. And that's the seed taking root, right? In that moment of, okay. Without all those other moments beforehand, he probably would have just taken Appa, right? But there's a lead up to this moment, and he makes the decision. And then something very important happens, and it's this. He has cognitive dissonance. All right, anybody want to read what cognitive dissonance? All right, you in the blue. Can you say it really loud for me?
The state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change.
Perfect. So now Zuko goes in his body, this episode is fantastic. His body is rejecting the idea that he let him go, that he let Appa go. He is upset, and he ends up being in this fever dream, having hallucinations, because he's having cognitive dissonance. He has done something that his old self would not have done. And now he's confused. Now he's not sure. What do I believe? What don't I believe? Right? And this to me is a critical part of a redemption story. And it doesn't have to be as dramatic as Zuko's was, that fit this story, but he has to have, or she has to have, I'm saying him because it's Zuko. You guys know it can be an alien, it can be some fantasy creature, it doesn't matter who the redemption arc is for, right? So this is critical, even if it's in a small moment, maybe writing in a journal or I don't know, just show it, right? So this part to me is huge. Okay, then he fails again, right? So, we've created, he's got the good backstory, the trauma. We've tried and failed. We've had our seeds planted. We've had them take root, and we've had our cognitive dissonance. And then, when he thinks he knows who he is now, after that fever dream, he realizes he doesn't know. Because now he has a moment where his sister Azula says, hey, well, again, the story matters, right, in this moment. So they think the Avatar is dead, and so Azula's like, well, why don't you come with me? Come with me, and you can have credit, and you can be welcomed home and have your honor. And Uncle Iroh says, no, don't do that. This isn't the right way to go. Let's, we have a good here now. So let's not, he's trying to stop the regression, right? And so it's a sad moment because who's rooting for him to go with Azula?
No one.
That's right. No one is. No one is. But who's rooting for him to get to be like, yes, Uncle Iroh, I've learned from you. I know all your teachings. Yay. Yes. Okay. We're like, please, yes. We want you to go with Uncle Iroh.
This is a failure, but he sees it as a win, though, because he gets what he wants, right?
Yes. He thinks this is a cognitive dissonance moment. In that moment, he doesn't know what to do, but he has been on that ship since he was 13. This idea of I must have the Avatar is ingrained in him. And so even though he doesn't want to disappoint Uncle Iroh, even though he loves Uncle Iroh, even though he knows that he felt happier and more valued in this place over here, that he really go get my honor back. Because in his mind, that's the only way to do it, right? And it's really sad. All right. Now, this is an important moment too, because once he returns, he makes a realization that he doesn't actually, I should say we learn by watching. He doesn't actually, it's not just about his honor, right? It's not just about, oh, I just want to be able to return home, right? This is what he's looking for. He wants his father and Azula to love and accept him, period, right? And give me 2 seconds. I gotta go look at. Whoa, that's not showing me what my next slide is. All right, I'm gonna peek at my next slide because I'm not sure. Okay. All right. No, we can go. What time is it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're gonna go. All right, so while he's there, he gets all the accolades. Welcome home. The prodigal son has returned. You may have your honor back. But it falls short, right? Because he's taken everything he's learned with him back home, and now he can see the difference, right? And so he makes some realizations, and they're hard, because first he goes and he talks to Iroh in prison, because, it's not like Azula was going to let Iroh go, right? And at first he's angry and he's mad, because he's still struggling. He's not sure, right? Then he goes and he's with his father, he's with Azula, and he's seeing. He's like, no. This isn't right. All right. So he has the realization and he has the regret. And now it's the time to redeem himself. Now he's not thinking in those terms, right? But as writers will. And this is what he needs. And it's what he has. Humility and action. So the first thing he does is he goes and he's going to go talk to his father. It's a powerful scene. All right, and he's talking to his father during Black Sun Ball. What's it called? The Day of Black Sun. There it is. Thank you. Oh my gosh, look at you guys. You guys impress me. All right. So the Day of Black Sun, And he's like, wait, I want to talk to you. And Fire Lord Ozai is like, figures. Today you'll come talk to me. You're not going to talk to me when I was at my full power, right? And Zuko does such a wonderful job advocating for himself, right? He says, look, what you did before, that trauma stuff in the past, he is facing his abuser, right? And it's powerful. He's saying, that stuff you did, yeah, challenging a 13-year-old boy to an Agni Kai, your own son, that's cruel. And he calls it out. And this is where you learn that Zuko is now getting it. He says, all I wanted was your love and acceptance. And it's a powerful moment. And then he says, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my uncle out of prison. And me, I'm going to go and I'm going to join the Avatar. Right? And that moment is powerful because of everything we've witnessed beforehand, right? You got a comment, young lady?
Do you mind if I ask you a question, or do you want me to wait until the end?
Oh, you can ask me a question.
Okay, so is this part in the redemption arc, like, is it almost like synonymous, or like synonym the same as like meeting the initial conflict? Like, if there's like the conflict of the main plot, and then it's like the climax that they're meeting, is it almost the exact same spot? Like is it the same thing?
Oh,
or is
girlfriend.
it different? Is it different?
Oh my goodness.
Does it make any sense?
Yes, it does make sense. I'm going to answer that question before the end. You get a Zuko. Right. Oh, very good. Yes. And do you remember what he says? It's the Avatar's job. That's not my destiny. That's the Avatar's destiny. Right?
Yeah, Zuko.
I don't know if he uses the word destiny, but essentially that's what he means, right? Okay, so powerful. All right.
Way to go, Lorna.
So good, man. This Zuko guy, man, he is so cool. Yeah. And so he does try to go rescue his uncle from prison, but what? Is he there? Oh, he's gone.
I was ripped.
He's gone. Yeah, Uncle Iroh? No. That man's got skills. He doesn't need your help. He can get out of the prison himself.
The man has.
So here is. So then Zuko's like, well, my uncle's gone. I guess I'm gonna go track down the Avatar. And he's got lots of experience tracking down the Avatar, so he doesn't have a problem. So here he is. Hello, Zuko here. But what happens? Wow! Why am I so bad at being good? All right, so he goes, but are they gonna welcome him? No, he's been chasing him, throwing fireballs at him, and being a general pain in the neck. So they're ready to, okay, we're gonna attack, right? They think he's there for the Avatar. He's like, no. And, you know, they have a little tussle, and some fire may have, you know, shot out, and then Toph's feet. Okay, who wants to explain who Toph is? All right. Actually, I'll do you in the back. Who's Toph?
Toph is Aang's Earthbender teacher and also the inventor of metal bending and also a pro wrestler.
Oh, heck yeah, yes. Gotta mention the pro wrestling, the rock star. All right. Yes.
She's also a 12-year-old girl who's like an absolute like baddie.
Yes, she is. She's a baddie.
She is blind and she can only navigate through her feet by feeling the earth and earthbending.
There it is. All of those are true. All of it is true. She's blind, and Zuko burns her what? Her feet. Whoa, jeez, why am I so bad at being good? Jeez, it sucks. You know? And luckily, we all know Katara has that healing ability. She's going to use it, but...
It was just a reflex upon seeing what might have been a potential threat that he shot out of the fire.
Absolutely, yeah. He did not want to hurt anybody. Yes, sir?
I just want to say, I think this is an important part of
tested, so that they have to prove they really have changed. They're not just changing out of convenience for what's best for the moment. They get tested and they're
Oh, yes, and he does. And then he has to prove himself to the crew. They finally, sorry, I'm gonna have to wait just 1 second because I only have 10 minutes. Oh, you guys, and I need water. Actually, go ahead and say your comment because I need water.
I was just going to say that because the redemption arc is so difficult, a lot of authors shortcut it by going, oh, we don't have to prove this of themselves. We'll just have Snake die of being poisoned by a snake he knew that the guy who was facing had. If he dies, then we don't have to do the messy work of proving it's real.
Coming at J.K. Rowling right now.
Accurate, and that's where redemption arcs fall short.
Isn't him dying
right?
kind of completing his redemption arc because he's sacrificing himself for Harry who he paid all this time?
Not necessarily.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yep, okay, sorry guys, we don't have time for a little side thing. But yes, and that's where redemption arcs fall short, right? It's like, really, that's it? You don't want to leave the reader wanting more. I mean, you do want them to want more, but not like, really? Ugh.
Or like you don't want them expecting more from the character.
Yes. So okay, so we learn they accept him tentatively. They're kind of cautious, especially who? Katara. She's all in his face, as you heard. I will end you, you know. So you better not, right? Okay. So and I love these. These are some of my favorite episodes. All right. And why are they the favorite? Because the writers have done the work. We've seen him at his lowest, and we've watched his progress, and now he's with the good guys, and we love it. And so they go on life-changing adventures. I think Toph actually calls it life-changing field trips, is actually what she calls it. So he goes with Sokka, and he goes and he rescues his father, and Suki, all right, at a Fire Nation prison. That's 2 episodes, you guys. They do not short us on this, and it is fantastic, right? We want to see it, right? And you get to see them build and grow closer to each other and have this beautiful dynamic. We see him go with Aang, and he has to go and relearn how to use his fire from a different source than anger, right? And so he goes with Aang on this adventure, right? To learn from the original firebending masters. I'm not going to tell you who they are, even though it's been long enough. Go watch the show if you haven't seen it. I know the 2 people in here. I know at least 2 people in here who haven't seen it. I'm not judging. Yeah, actually I'm like, oh, I might have to have a little marathon going on. All right, so this is bonding for them, right? And it's also important to note, Zuko he has come to the Avatar saying, I will teach you what? Firebending. So the fact that he lost it is kind of ironic and hilarious, and it is, I think Katara even says something along those lines. Like, really? That's funny, you've been chasing us all this time, now you can't use it? That sucks, right? So they go, but Zuko still has all of his skill. He knows how to use firebending. He just needed to figure out the source. So he still teaches Aang. He is still Aang's firebending master, right? We have Katara. Katara's angry. She does not like Zuko. And then he takes her on a little field trip. Go, because they bonded over what? Their mothers. The lack of them. And so he goes and he takes Katara to face the person who killed her mother, right? And that's a bonding, endearing scene. Sorry, I'll get to you in just 1 second. That brings them together, right? And I don't know as there would have been another way for that to happen. Katara is angry at Zuko. And this was the perfect way for him to redeem himself in her eyes. Is to let her face her mother's killer. And then we have Toph. And I love I love Top's field trip because it's a beautiful way that the writers have said, hey, look, this girl doesn't have as much history. She does not care that he's part of their group now, right? He owes her nothing. He doesn't need to redeem himself, not really. Most of the time when she's with the crew, she's fighting Azula. She's oh, what's the word? I lost it, but that's okay. Yes.
And the Ember Island players, they did have a moment together where, like, she recounts the time that she met Uncle Iroh and reminds him of, like, how much, like, love and trust, like, Iroh has for Zuko.
That is true. That is true. So they do have a moment, but Zuko wasn't chasing her around, right? He was too busy being a fugitive in the Earth Kingdom when she's around. So. He doesn't really need to do much, right? And I just think that that's a beautiful way to not leave Toph out, but also like, he doesn't really need it, And it's just funny. 5 minutes, oh snap, okay, I'm so sorry. You gotta be kidding me.
You got this.
All right, we're just gonna zoom. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta zoom through Iroh. Best redemption moment ever, and then it comes full circle, right? He has now redeemed himself, and it doesn't take much. It's a, I'm sorry, and then Iroh just simply forgives him. Because you know what? That's what parents do. We just forgive really easily because we want to see the positive things in our children. And when they do good, yeah, we're just gonna let it continue. Okay, we're just gonna zoom through here. We know he goes with them, they fight, blah, 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 yay. All right, but this is his reward. His reward is he's got peace, he's got love, he's got friendship. And he does get to return. I was actually gonna write that down, but then I was like, maybe that's too churchy. Return with honor. and he does, he returns home with honor. And he becomes the new Fire Lord, which is awesome. All right, but this is where I want to spend my 5 minutes. Here is Zuko's redemption arc. All right. First off, I've never made a graphic in my life. I made this. So I've actually never made a PowerPoint either. This has been a really great learning opportunity. All right.
It was a collective effort.
So yeah, paint.net.
Kidding, love you, Mom.
So, all right. Okay. We got it. Traumatic backstory. Threshold. Threshold is the point of no return. That's where we meet him. We aren't going to start, when you do a redemption story, the backstory comes later. You do not introduce the redemption character with their backstory. Not necessary. Also a mentor. A mentor is needed. We have Uncle Iroh. He's the rock star. All right, then we have exactly what we talked about. Try, fail. Seeds planted, fail. Seeds take root, fail. Regret, make a man's fully change sides. Then he has his reward, he returns home. And this is the kicker. It's essentially the hero's journey. Here you go, young lady. The young lady who got the Zuko.
That's you.
You.
Yay.
This is the answer to your question. Okay. The approach aspect is where Zuko is learning and changing, all right? He's approaching his fears, and he goes through the ordeal, and the ordeal is his change. All right, you got that, sister? All right, that's the change. And then, all right, the reward is, well, now I'm fighting for right. I have a group of people, all right, good. And then the propelling events, those are the field trips. That's the teaching Zuko firebending. And then we have the climax, where he goes and he fights Azula with Katara. And so if you are ever at a point where you're like, I don't know what to do with this redemption, I don't know how this story's supposed to go, you absolutely, it's okay if you don't have this, all right? Go back. It's the same journey, because a hero's journey is actually a journey of change for the hero. Because what happens to the hero? The hero leaves, and he comes back a changed human being, and that's exactly what Zuko does. right? And he is redeemed. Okay, I think we have 2 minutes. All right, first there was a comment or a question in the back, and I want to get to him, and then I'll get to you. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to point out, like, if you think in terms of the patterns that Zuko has been living by, the second that he chooses redemption, he has to go against all of them. So the second that he no longer wants to hunt down the Avatar, he has to. The second that he doesn't want to compete with Azula anymore, he has to. The second that he wants to be with Iroh, he can't be. Like, everything that he wants is like, he has to work against what he wants in order to get that redemption.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, that's a lovely comment. That's fantastic. Very, very well done. Really great thought out. I had not considered that before.
Is Schindler's List a redemption arc?
Oh. Schindler's, you could,
Big ask.
you could say that.
Kind of, yeah.
Schindler's List?
It's been a number of years since I've seen it.
Those of you who don't know, it's about a guy who was a part of the Nazi party, but then he helped Jews escape from Auschwitz.
You could make
Yeah.
it work for that, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a play for that for sure. Yeah.
Another important piece about the redemption arc is the one episode where that one Kingdom Boy in the small town. And
Yes, yes.
But it shows that he's firebending and he has to firebend to defend him, and it's just a really interesting part.
You know, that is a very beautiful piece, and I went back and forth on whether or not to include it, but for time I didn't. I'm glad you brought it up, because that really is. In fact, that's probably, that is a seed that was planted, and then he sees the reaction of, oh shoot, I'm a firebender, and now I'm ostracized.
You're saying it's a try-fail of the seed being planted.
Exactly. And it's a mini win too, right? Like, it's a mini win, he's helped them, but also now they're like, but you had to do that by being a firebender and we don't like you, right? So really, it's a great part. Yeah, what do you have to say?
I was just going to say that was the first time I think that he saw himself through someone else's eyes, and he saw himself
Yes.
and it changed his perception of himself, because up until then it's all been about me, my honor, my whatever, all this whatever, and they see me as, they're scared of me, they see me as the bad guy, and it forces him to look at himself.
Perfect, absolutely true. Okay, one more comment, and then if people need to leave, I'm not going to be upset.
This is really short, but I feel like they should think of it as like someone who's bad and turned good. And I think that the very beginning of why he got in trouble, like speaking out against evil.
Yes, his core is good.
It shows that he was actually someone that was, he became who he really was all along.
And Ursa taught him, right? Ursa was a lovely mother. So yes, absolutely. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Class is over. Go to your next class.
Proud of you, Mom. Good job.